see if you right with the ticket you could for.
Yep. Oh, you want to stick, bud? Go ahead. I'm going to sit right behind the window.
This is stop number 3.
Stop number 3. Alright, watch your step when you're getting off there, folks. Make sure you use those handrails. Those steps can be a little steep. You're welcome there. Y'all have a good day. In the center, you'll notice a green fountain. That is the German Memorial Fountain. It was placed there in 1989 in honor of the early German immigrants that came over to Liverpool. Now the house coming up here to your left with the tall columns, this is the Harper Folks house. It was bought at an auction by Alita Harper Folks in 1980 or 1939 for $9,000.
Whoa!
Yeah. And when she died, she left it to the Society of Cincinnati, which was affiliated with the Revolutionary War, with the stipulation that that house never be sold again. Often fish, they're made of iron. There's another one on the other end of the house here to your right. And that statue to the left, that 9-foot tall statue in the middle of the square there, is the James Oak Lord. It was sculpted by Daniel Chester French, who also sculpted the Abraham Lincoln Monument in Washington, D.C. And we're going to be coming up to stop number 4 in a moment. That's going to be the Sorrel Weed House. It was known for its lavish parties that would often spill out onto the green. That's what the square was called at that time. Before we get there, I want y'all to look to your right. This Moorish-style building with 5 columns. This was the location of our first Ford dealership in Savannah, 1912. Y'all gonna be getting off. Y'all going all the way through, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So straight ahead is Madison Square, and it was named in honor of our 4th president, Mr. James Madison. And the monument there in the center, that is to Sergeant William Jasper. Now, unfortunately, Sergeant Jasper was killed during the siege of Savannah on October 9, 1779. That battle happened just a few hundred yards from here. And the house right here to your right is the Green Meldrum House. And it was built by a wealthy British cotton broker by the name of Charles Green. During Sherman's occupation of Savannah, Green actually opened his home for Sherman to use as his headquarters. To spare the Savannahans the embarrassment of those to the enemy. Now coming up to your left as we make this turn, you'll see this red brick building. This used to be the Savannah Voluntary Guard Armory. You notice the cannons on each side of the door there? Those are authentic. They came out of that armory.
Oh wow! This canyon.
Now we're getting ready to cross over Jones Street. It was voted in 2017 by Southern Living magazine to be one of the most beautiful streets to take a stroll down in North America. Now I'm not sure, have y'all ever seen the movie or read the book Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil? That
No.
was filmed here by Clint Eastwood, loosely based on a true story that happened here. And we're coming into Monterey Square, and it was named after the last battle, or the Battle of Monterey rather. And that big monument in the center, that is Brigadier General Count Casimir Pulaski, who fought alongside of George Washington during the war. And unfortunately, he, like Sergeant Jasper, was killed during the siege of Savannah. Now the house right here to your right is the Mercer Williams house. And it was built by Hugh Mercer, the great-grandfather of the singer and songwriter Johnny Mercer. And we're going to be approaching the largest privately owned mansion here in Savannah. The mansion is 26,000 square feet. Made of brick and stone covered in marble dust. So you'll never see any paint on this house. This white one coming up right here to your right. I'll check out the Buckingham style fence there around the front.
Ooh, look at that.
Now today that mansion belongs to Richard Kessler. He's the former CEO and co-founder of Days Inn, called the Candler Oak. Right there.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that tree is over 300 years old, friends. Now we're going to be coming up to stop number 6, Temple Mikveh, Israel. That's the oldest Gothic-style Jewish synagogue in the United States.
Oldest.
To your right, it was the first public school in Georgia, and following the end of slavery, it became the first freedmen's school. Now that also served as a hospital during General Sherman's occupation of Savannah, where his Union soldiers were treated and were injured. In honor of the Pope.
John the
That is a
Baptist.
gorgeous cathedral inside too, by the way.
The Baptist church. I mean, it's a Catholic. Mm-hmm.
I know, right? Well, the building over here to our left, this white building with the flagpole, that is our committee for St. Patrick's Day. Now, St. Patrick's Day here in Savannah is a big deal. It starts a whole week early. They call it St. Practice Week. And it all starts with the ceremonial turning of the Forsyth Fountain green. Then they turn all the fountains throughout Savannah green. Then they turn your eggs green, your grits green, your beer green. Man, they turn everything green. Savannah's actually ranked number 2 in the United States for our parades, St. Patrick's Day parades.
Wow.
Yeah, New York is number 1. Our St. Patrick's Day parades typically last about 4 to 6 hours. Yeah, it is also home to the Johnny Mercer Theater. Johnny Mercer, he was a native son of Savannah. He was a very talented songwriter and singer. He wrote over 1,500 songs, mostly for movies and television. But he won quite a few awards for his music. Inside there today, you'll find they have tractor pulls, mud wrestling, all kind of crazy stuff. That's our Cultural Arts Center here to your left.
Cultural Arts Center.
It has a walk-up window, not a drive-up window.
Ah, yeah.
That was by design for the city to allow them to put that McDonald's here in our historic district.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it looked a lot different back in 1755 when it was established, but it is where the colonists would come and buy, sell, trade, and barter for produce, fish, poultry, and rice.
Oh.
We're going to be hospital, surgical hospital during the Civil War. Words department store, but that's where ours was. It was right there stamped on the grave.
Yeah.
And if you have a chance, make sure you visit Leopold's Ice Cream over here, because that is some of the best ice cream you will ever eat. Right there. Now we're coming up to the Lucas Theater. Now this theater was built in 1921. And in 1923, it became the first theater to get air conditioning. If you look on those brick out here on the front and around the side, there are names engraved in those bricks. Those names are of donors who came together to help save this restaurant, save this theater. They raised $14 million to save the theater. Now today it is supported by the Savannah College of Art and Design, where they have their Savannah Film Festival each year. Now the square to our left is Reynolds Square, named after Georgia's first royal governor, John Reynolds. And if you notice the monument in the middle, that is to John Wesley, who's considered to be the father of Methodism.
John Wesley.
On the field
And if
open.
you've heard of the old Pink House restaurant, that's it right there on the corner.
Pink House Restaurant. Anthony in here.
Now, have y'all seen the movie Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Well, do you remember a scene in Forrest Gump where Jenny was a waitress?
Yes.
That particular scene in that movie was shot right here at Debbie's All Day Breakfast with those American flags on it.
Oh.
That's where that scene was shot.
Yeah, Debbie.
You're likely to break something. Now look here to your left and right. These are called factor walks. And the factors were essentially brokers. And they would stand up there and inspect the carts of cotton as they were brought through, and they'd bid on them. Boar's Head right here is our oldest restaurant on River Street. It was established here in 1959.
Riverfront 喺度，
嗯
呢個 river 呢個
然後搭翻個 trolley 翻去咯，去完嗰啲個故事啊。
If you notice over here to your left, this is the Savannah River. And it was only 12 feet deep when James Oglethorpe arrived here in 1733. But today it has been dredged 52 feet deep at low tide. And it can accommodate 98% of the world's cargo ships. Now across the river there to your left, that is our Savannah Convention Center. And that tall building in the middle, that's the Westin Resort. And they're situated on Hutchinson Island, which is part of Savannah. Now the buildings here to your right, these were cotton offices. Up until the mid-1950s, that's when the cotton industry kind of dried up here in Savannah. Now this is one of the oldest buildings down here. This one here to your right is the Old Harbor Inn. It was built in 1892.
Wow.
Back then it was owned by Tidewater Oil Company. They made fuel oil. Now we're coming up to the Waving Girl. Stop number 12. And if you notice, this statue right over here, that is our Waving Girl. Her real name was Florence Martis, and that's her dog Sandy with her. Now, did y'all know we had an Olympic torch here in Savannah? Savannah's never hosted the Olympics, but in 19 torch there.
Olympic
They
torch.
held the medal ceremonies on this ramp to your right. there. Like I said, her real name was. And in the main section of the building here to your right, there's a subterranean dungeon that SCAD remodeled and repurposed for studio and classroom space. Now we're going to work our way over to stop number 14. That's going to be the Colonial Park Cemetery. It's our oldest existing cemetery. And if you notice, as we cross over this little intersection, if you look to your left, you'll see the back of the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist.
Oh yeah.
And the building right across the street here to your left, that is the Academy of St. Vincent de Paul. That was one of our first orphanages here in Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
As we approach the cemetery, I want you to look to your right. See all these people standing over here. But if you look, I want you to look at this long patch of grass right there. Friends, that was the dueling grounds. That's where men came to settle their disputes. They lined up back to back, faced off 10 or 12 steps, turned around and fired.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now this is the Colonial Park Cemetery here to your right. First burial was in 1750. And the last one was in 1853. If you notice the crypts out there, they're designed to hold up to 9 family members. And it was this cemetery where General Sherman's Union troops camped during their occupation of Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a wall on the back of the cemetery that has headstones on it. It's called the Orphan Wall. Not because it has children on it, though some of them may be, but it's basically headstones that they couldn't match up to the graves. Savannah did a very poor job of keeping records, accurate records of the deaths of people. This cemetery here, this section here, this is actually a memorial park. Because the cemetery itself, Colonial Park, it has over 10,000 burials in it. There's only about 700 headstones. And that is because this cemetery extends another block and a half in every direction.
Ooh.
Means we're driving right over their cemetery. We just built over top of it. And there's very likely chance if you go out there and look at the headstones, the name of the person on that headstone is not actually. Ring that bell, it weighs 5,550 pounds.
Ooh.
Look at the hammer on that thing. When a fire would break out in one of the 24 squares, they would ring that bell to alert the volunteers to a fire in one of the 24 squares. Now we're coming up to the Juliet Gordon Lowe birthplace. Now, Juliet Gordon Lowe was the founder of the Girl Scouts of America. She was born here in this house on Halloween, 1860.
Mm-hmm.
You see the front of the door here right there.
Yeah. Juliet Gordon Lowe. Birthplace Museum.
Now, if you look over here to your left in this median, you'll see a stone monument right here in this median. That is a Jewish burial site.
Oh
There's two
yeah.
plaques on the back side of that monument that has the names of the Jewish that are buried there. Just 5 months after Oglethorpe arrived here at the colony, there were 42 Jewish refugees fleeing persecution from Spain, Portugal, and Germany. And that's where the Chatham County Judicial Complex is today. And that brings me to the fourth and final prohibition of James Oglethorpe. He prohibited lawyers from joining the colony. Now, did y'all fly into Savannah? Did y'all fly into Savannah?
No, we drove.
Okay. Well, at Savannah International Airport, I'll just give you this a little just bit of extra food for thought here.